The roar of a crowd, the passion of competition, and the thrill of victory. It's what sporting events are all about. In the midst of these games is one performer with a critical job. The job to entertain and keep fans coming back for more.
To bring the energy, to bring the fun.
But their potential impact for good runs much deeper.
By the time I put the head on, I was a different person. I was that character. I was what people saw.
And what people see are big, lovable creatures who get bombarded everywhere they go.
But for these mascots, it's not just all about entertaining sports fans. They do have a kinder, gentler side that's changing kids' lives. So when you're having a really bad day or you're hurting and you see a mascot, what happens?
They make me smile again.
Would you say that the mascots have actually prolonged her life?
Absolutely.
You really believe that?
I honestly know that.
He made it so that I forgot like all my pain and I just could think of that moment and how happy I was.
Maybe these characters are more than just entertainers.
Every time they're around these mascots, nothing's gonna happen to them. Everything's okay.
They never feel stronger.
Just maybe.
I would say that they are working literal miracles, not just for my daughter, but for others.
They are heroes in disguise. Game time as the Pistons face off against the Denver Nuggets. There to get the fans riled up is a whole different team of players. Professional mascots from different places who have all come to celebrate Hooper's birthday.
He is the ringleader for Pistons Entertainment.
That is the voice of Hooper.
The horse represents the horsepower of this city.
A young man who admits he's a little on the quiet side.
I'm definitely a shy and quiet person my whole life.
But get him into his uniform, and Hooper is transformed into an entertainment machine.
The loudest props, he's got the most exciting stunts. A big ball of energy.
But he's not the only one. All these mascots are trained entertainers and daredevils.
It can be dangerous, especially with the impaired vision.
Just ask,
how many bones have you broken?
Ken, the 30-year mascot veteran and Hall of Famer, whose alter ego is kept secret.
Everything from my teeth to shoulder to back to feet, heels, jumped off the hoop one time, just jumped off the hoop, not swung down off the hoop. Broke my heel.
But this is no kickback job for these mascots. Many of them are here 5 hours earlier before the game starts just to make sure the choreography is just right.
We spend a lot of time preparing for every game.
Give it up for Hooper, the birthday boy is fans and your Piston dancer!
Hooper says he didn't always dream of being a mascot.
Not always, actually. Not always.
Hooper went to college at Dixie State University in St. George. He was Big D the mascot and later became the Bison.
Hooper's turning point to become a professional NBA mascot was in 2014 while still in college. But it wasn't in a basketball arena. It was actually out on a football field in Salt Lake when he played in the Mascot Bowl, an event put on by the Mascot Miracle Foundation. And it was all about playing for a special group of kids.
That was a point where I said to myself, that's really cool to be able to do that and to be able to not only have fun at my job, but to help influence those around me.
It's Hooper's birthday today!
Yes, games are important, but this is where Hooper and other mascots say they spend much of their time at community and charity events.
Those are the events that really put life into perspective and make me feel like I'm doing a good job.
Leo, get him, Leo!
Ken had a similar experience playing in the Mascot Miracle Football Bowl.
Went out there and the scope of what I experienced was beyond what I could imagine.
A realization that's changing both mascots and kids' lives.
North Pole!
To see the impact, all you have to do is jump aboard the Polar Express train and experience the Mascot Miracles Foundation in action.
It's almost like they know that these mascots are their protectors. Every time they're around these mascots, nothing's gonna happen to them. Everything's okay.
All aboard for the North Pole Express! All aboard!
They call it the Polar Express.
The Christmas magic, you know? We love the Christmas magic. That's what we specialize in.
But on this December night, it's about to become even more magical.
Okay, we have to close the doors. Time to go.
The cargo in these trains are filled with some very special kids
You guys like cookies? Yeah? Oh, good.
that are about to get the ride of their life. Tonight is a main event for the Mascot Miracles Foundation, a nonprofit organization that uses mascots to bring smiles and hope to children who may have serious illnesses or disabilities. This is their 5th year of doing the Polar Express ride.
It is so cool to have them here. We love these guys. We've been working with them for several years. Our staff fights over who gets to be on this train because it's such a great experience. We love it.
Each one of these mascots volunteers their time to be here. And you can see why the mascots keep coming back for more.
I'm the mascot with a face.
Ellie Elliott is a princess mascot.
We believe no child fights alone, that each child gets to have that best friend in a mascot or a princess.
The other mascots spoke to us behind the mask.
When you put on a costume, you're just their friend. And you can go interact with them, and they seem to really connect with you.
I love it because it's bigger than me. It has nothing to do with me, and that's one of the reasons why we as mascots hide our identity, because we don't do it for us, we do it for the kids.
The Polar Express ride here is a 90-minute ride to the North Pole and back.
Which gives these kids plenty of interaction time.
A lot of times we don't get to do a lot of the same social events that other people do, and they set up situations where we can come out and do this kind of thing. And it's nice because we can also network with other families and get to know other people that are going through a lot of the same things we are.
I think it's pretty incredible because it creates an opportunity that we wouldn't have otherwise.
The real magic from these moments comes when you hear the individual stories of those forever changed.
There you go, huh?
Like Kimmy Hansen,
Yeah.
who loves the art of pour painting.
I'm adding blue, and I'm adding some green.
Or are you gonna just do white?
I'm doing white.
Okay, I think you're probably good with that level, sweetheart. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, should we tip it?
Yeah.
Here, you can hold it.
Add them on to the canvas to
shine it.
Making things shine is what 21-year-old Kimmy does best. A young woman who was born with a rare epilepsy disorder, an intestinal problem. When Kimmy is in severe pain or having a seizure, it's not only very serious, but it can be deadly.
Those seizures cause me problems. Like, my balance is off and everything is crazy.
On a really bad day, how do you feel inside?
Every part of my body does hurt.
On the day of this interview, Kimmy was living on borrowed time.
I'm just very, very blessed to have one more day. And whether we have one more day or we have 100 more days or 1,000 more days, I'm just going to be grateful for every single one of them.
This is my Elsa bear.
Kimmy loves stuffed animals
Yeah.
and the Disney movie Frozen.
Go, let go, I won't back anymore.
But there are much larger stuffed animals that Kimmy's mother believes have brought new life to her daughter. Kimmy has been a part of the Mascot Miracles Foundation for 4 years.
And how do the mascots make you feel when you're sad or sick?
They make me smile again.
So we now call it the Mascot effect, and she usually goes as little as 5 days after seeing Mascot Friend without any seizures to as much as 14 days.
Would you say that the mascots have actually prolonged her life?
Absolutely.
You really believe that?
I honestly know that.
Because of what you see?
Yeah.
One bottle pop, 2 bottle pop, 3 bottle pop, 4 bottle pop, 5 bottle pop, 6 bottle pop, 7 bottle pop.
I wish we had that master so we could go around.
Another girl is 8-year-old Eliana Hone, a 3rd grader at Treeside Charter School in Provo.
Can you complete the heart?
Eliana has a disease that impacts the growth and development of her brain,
Can you put the star together for me again?
which deals with speech and intelligence.
Basically, anything that the brain controls is impacted. Honey, can you finish this one?
As a result, Eliana needs help with some of the most basic skills.
Do you have a rabbit?
Getting Eliana to speak is no easy task.
I named my favorite chicken Marty.
She's a girl of very few words.
She understands the language. She understands things that are coming in, but getting it back out is really hard.
But for some reason, when it comes to hanging out with these furry fellows, Eliana comes to life in a whole new way. That's why one of Christina's favorite memories of her daughter is when Eliana put together her first few syllables.
Mascots, America.
A moment Christina captured on video.
Talking mascots, America.
I heard her just practicing over and over again. Mascot miracles. Mascot miracles. And it was just one of those moments as a parent, you think your first word is going to be mom and I love you, and it was all about the mascot miracles. We realized that there's just something about the way they put her at ease that makes it possible for her to try harder, to work harder. I would say that they are working literal miracles.
Miracles that all started 7 years ago when founders of the organization met this little girl with leukemia.
This 4-year-old girl was raising money for other kids in the world that had cancer. She wasn't even worried about her own self. She was raising money for other children. The Mascot Miracles Foundation was founded by a bunch of goofy mascots.
Goofing around is what mascots do.
I can call and get that reserved to all starlings.
But for the Mascot Miracles Foundation in Utah,
Okay, so we've got last week in January, wheelchair for all mascots.
their mission is serious business.
Awesome.
The business of changing young lives who are struggling with an illness or disability.
These kids are the most Christ-like kids I've ever met.
Rich Ellis is the founder of the nonprofit organization that now helps more than 1,100 families.
These kids are here, in my opinion, to make society better, to make humanity a better place. And I don't care who you are and what faith you are and how hard of a heart you have. You get around these kids and you'll melt like butter.
Ready, go!
It all started 7 years ago when Rich met a little girl that melted his heart. Her name, Brindley Torres, who was just 4 years old at the time, and had been battling leukemia for 2 years.
My son and I was coming home from an experience down in Provo area, and we took a different exit than we normally took, and we ran into this family. What intrigued us is this 4-year-old girl was raising money for other kids in the world that had cancer. She wasn't even worried about her own self. She was raising money for other children.
The mascot was Grisby, and we were doing a big fundraiser for childhood cancer.
This is Brinley Torres today.
Hey, what's up?
Now 13 years old and cancer-free.
It's crazy. It's like, I can't believe I made it this long.
Brinley remembers that first encounter with Grisby, the mascot.
I saw a big cuddly bear, and I wanted to go talk to him and be friends with him. So I grabbed his hand and I took him down the slide a lot, like over and over and over again.
As a result, the friendship grew, and a short time later, 2 mascots came and surprised her at her house after she got out of the hospital.
I got a knock at the door, and there was Kodiak, and Kodiak came in and gave me a stuffed animal, and he made it so that I forgot all my pain, and I just could think of that moment and how happy I was.
Pain-free for just a moment, as this big cuddly mascot spent time with a child. Rich saw this and sensed more could be done.
They just want to be loved. They want to be treated normally. They don't want to be treated like the kid that's in a wheelchair. They don't want to be treated like the kid that has cancer. They want to do normal things just like every other kid out there.
Rich then reached out to other mascots across the state, and many wanted to volunteer. To date, there are now about 30 local mascots in the organization, and many national mascots who get involved.
A lot of people would think we're party planners, and because we just try to create fun, but it's way more than that. We create experiences and memories, and because you never know when would be the last time that family has an opportunity to make that memory.
Sometimes those events will include hundreds of kids, and other times it may just be a special occasion with just one child, like when the mascots surprised 13-year-old Gabe Casados by taking him bowling for his birthday.
So I can't straighten out my hands or my legs.
Gabe has been an ambassador for the organization for years, and the mascots felt it was his turn to be center stage.
It makes me feel stronger because they'll help me if I need it.
There's a reason why all these mascots are in wheelchairs. They wanted to make sure Gabe felt as comfortable as possible. Let me tell you, it's not easy bowling in a wheelchair.
Right with his level, we're bowling with him in chairs, and it's just fun, and we wanted to surprise him with something special.
What are your favorite drinks?
Coke was fun.
These mascots may not speak, but they don't need to. Their actions speak much louder than words.
Well, they're animals, which is already cool, and they just don't have to talk. They can just show it, which is cool.
I think this is extremely therapeutic.
Dr. Mike Green is a pediatric rehabilitation medicine physician at Primary Children's Hospital. He says interacting with mascots can actually provide a different kind of therapy that a child may need.
The reason why physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy work is to get that child more independent, but without having a goal of getting them in the community, there's not really much of a need to be as independent. So our goal is to get them to participate in their community.
And that's where the mascots provide help.
It takes what that child's working on in therapies and with the medical community and making it real world.
Every morning at 9 o'clock in the morning, a draw bridge comes down.
That's why Rich Ellis has even bigger dreams. The dream to actually build an amusement park for these kids.
It takes the kids from reality to a fantasy world as they go across this bridge.
The thrilling screens and adrenaline rush of an amusement park. It's what kids love to experience. But for those kids with physical or mental disabilities, the options at amusement parks are limited.
It takes the kids from reality to a fantasy world as they go across this bridge.
That's why Rich Ellis hopes to construct a first-of-its-kind amusement park.
We're actually going to create an indoor, fully adaptive, all abilities amusement park here in the state of Utah.
It's an idea that has Gabe very excited.
They're making an all-accessible theme park which I've never been able to do before. So I'm super happy and excited to try it.
Rich says they have financial backing
So there'll be a lot of sensory rooms in here.
and are still working with cities on finding a location, so construction is still a ways away. But that's okay, because these Mascot miracle workers have plenty to do, continuing to bless lives one kid at a time, just like they have with Kimmy.
Let me see that big smile. Is that what they make you do?
Eliana,
It's like a whole different child. This is the first year that I saw her interact with her peers.
Gabe,
They're really helpful, and if you're just like, your kid has disabilities or someone you know, this will help brighten up their day.
and Brinley.
They just made me feel so special and they brought a smile to my face.
They keep doing it because they know the impact that they're making on these families is the reason that they're there.
While the magic and energy inside the arenas is electrifying,
Thousands of fans screaming.
it's the small miracles these mascots see that moves them.
The real rush for Mascots, honestly, is the small intimate moments that you have with people that are either less fortunate or have gone through some kind of tragedy.
That's why for these kids, they are truly heroes in disguise.
Enjoy uplifting programs anytime, anywhere you want, with inspiring KSL documentaries on the free KSL TV app. Available now for download from your preferred app store for all your favorite devices.